Hi everyone, here is Lucy from Your Space, and today I'm going to talk more about decluttering. What are the benefits of uncluttered space? There is a number of emotional, physical, social, mental and financial benefits that I have learned over the time I work as a professional organizer. So let's have a look at just some of them. More calm, less anxiety. That is because clutter can be very overwhelming. So when we are in cluttered space, it rises your stress level, it makes you confused, it makes you confined, and it always just makes your mind sort of wander off, and you have this feeling like you always have to do something. So when you live in uncluttered space, it's gonna make you feel much more calm, much more relaxed and less anxious. The mental benefits of uncluttered space are tied to your productivity and your efficiency. As I already mentioned and spoke about in many other videos, it's all about your focus. If you're in a cluttered environment, your focus is constantly going to be hijacked by all the clutter around you, and it's going to be much harder for you to focus on the task at hand. So if you can focus better on one thing and single task, it's going to make you feel much less overwhelmed, which just leads to more productivity, efficiency, and also just less stress. If you have a lot of mess, you have a lot of stress, and it's really easy to be blaming one another, who caused the stress and who caused the mess, and why can't I find this, and why is this dirty and not clean. And it's just so much easier to maintain your home when it's not cluttered, and that will prevent a lot of arguments. So if you're more productive, more efficient, of course it's much easier for you to make money. But also, a lot of clutter might lead to losing money. So if you lose things in your house constantly, you need to buy much more stuff, and then you end up with a lot of duplicates. For example, in your kitchen, it's very common that your dishes will more likely get broken, because if you don't have enough space for them and it's just all cramped in one little cupboard and you have too much of it, it's really going to be easier to break it. Especially when it comes to food. If you don't have the things very well organized, then you actually don't know what you have, and that will lead you to buying maybe too much or things that you don't need, which leads to spoiling and food wasting. Last but not least, the physical benefits that many of us might not realize, because that doesn't really apply to everyone. It's more in the extreme cases. So when you have very cluttered home, it's obviously much harder to clean it, but also it might develop mold and a lot of dust. So the indoor air quality is pretty bad. And when you do go through some huge transformation through decluttering, you might notice that the air quality is going to be much better. You end up living in much healthier environment for you. So while you're decluttering, it's very common that you find a lot of lost treasures. I always wait for that moment, and it always happens, usually already during a first day of our decluttering session with my clients. I always hear like, oh my god, this is what it is, I have been looking for it for ages, and you always witness people being so joyful. It's amazing. And a lot of time, again, it resolves certain disputes that you have in your house as a family when you can't find a piece of paper, and again you're blaming one another, and then during the decluttering process you suddenly find it and things are resolved. You would also be surprised how much money can you find throughout your decluttering process. So just go and start. And if you have any questions or you don't know where to start, just contact me and I'll give you some tips.